Okay.
Wow. I kind of feel overwhelmed.
You feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, I do. There's
hey,
just
Ian's here already. Hello, Ian.
Hey, Ian.
And that's why I am constantly like cleaning my studio and purging stuff. And it's taken me like 3 years or something since I moved in from the garage. But I just feel like the too much of the clutter and stuff just overwhelms me. And I can't be creative in that kind of environment.
Yeah, right now that's what it's doing to me. So
we're chit-chatting about cleaning up our space. Hey, Muriel. Hey, Meridel. Okay, hey, so we're going to be working on this monkey face. And Cindy is, she went looking for something in her art room, and now she's in the midst of cleaning and purging because, that happens to the best of us. We've all been there.
I couldn't find a supply, and it made me mad.
Hey, Frankie. Hey, Deborah. Okay, so today we're going to try something new. I've refilled my little brown bottle of watercolor water that has oxgall liquid in it. And yes, I have the actual oxgall liquid that is made from animal parts. But there is synthetic oxgall, and we're actually going to try some. This is by the people at Golden, made for their Quar watercolors. So we've added a few drops of that to our water, so we're going to try it today. And I've got a kind of a golden brown colored pencil and my Daniel Smith watercolor paints. Now, I will tell you that I have a couple of inspiration photos here because I'm going to be doing an art class for the folks at Direct Travel. Direct Travel is a worldwide travel agency. They do corporate and personal travel accommodations for folks. And they are hiring me to come in and teach a class on doing art while you're on vacation and doing art from your vacation photos. So I'm going to be actually doing a little bit different spin on basically the sip and paint. And we're going to be doing it instead of in watercolor, we're going to be doing it with, instead of acrylic, we're going to be doing watercolor. So I will have the details about that soon. And if you're interested, if you're in the Bay Area and taking the class, I'll get the information for you guys. These are some of the photos they sent me to play with, to create the demo paintings with. So I'm going to be playing with that, but I'll be filming it, but it will be only for the people who take the class.
Gina,
I may show some stills on social media though. Yes.
Is it going to be for if anybody's in that area and they just want to come in to take the class from you, or is it something they have to be affiliated with the travel agent?
I don't think they have to be affiliated with the travel agent, but I do think you're going to have to call and like make a reservation.
Okay.
And I will find out more details when I have them. I literally just got these pictures last night. And they want to do the class on March 14th. You can pencil that date in. So they're like rushing and scrambling to get the equipment, to get the supplies, to get the invitations made, give me the details. So it's going to be crazy. All right, so here's our photo.
Don't forget my plane ticket.
Yeah. I'm sure you can get a last minute deal.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so the monkey painting is interesting because I will admit to you guys, this is not a piece I would have chosen if you had let me. I don't know that I would have chosen this piece to do. So we're going to get our paints wet here.
Okay, I don't know if I just lost it or how come I see it? There's no group chat.
I see the chat.
You know what? It's probably on the iPad. I'll have to look on the iPad.
Okay. Hey, Gerda. Hey, Frankie. Hey, Cody. I forgot where I was here with the oxgall liquid. Holy cow. I got to not look at the chat, and I got to look at what I'm doing. I got asked recently if I leave my watercolor paints open after I use them until they dry. The answer is yes. That's especially important if you live in a humid, moist area. Your watercolor paints can and will mold if you close them up and put them away while they're still wet. So it is a good idea to let them dry out, leave the pan open. I leave it open just like you see it now, and I stick it on the shelf up above my work table.
Crazy.
Okay. We're almost done. This is the Daniel Smith palette that has a lot of colors in it, so it takes me a few minutes. I'm anxious to see how this synthetic oxgall works, if it works any better. You can re-wet your paints, of course, with regular water. Wrong with that, and most of your better quality paints will re-wet just fine with regular water. Some of them I have found re-wet a little better with oxgall liquid. Okay.
Gina, when you say they re-wet better, what do you mean by they re-wet better? It doesn't take them as long to re-wet, or?
Yeah, so they reconstitute better to something you can actually paint with, and you get a darker, more pigmented paint to color with the oxgall liquid in it than you do with just plain water.
Gotcha.
All right. Oh, Crafty Degrassi, your first one, yay. Yeah, I have an idea for how to do him. We're going to talk about while I'm working. Yeah, so if you're in a, moist, damp environment, you want to really be aware of how to treat your art supplies in that environment, especially with something like watercolor paints, and some of your glues and things too might dry out completely if say you're in Arizona where it gets really hot in the summer. Okay, so let's get started. This is the one I just did. I did film it. It's gonna not air for a while, but it's coming. All right, so I'm going to, hey, Aunt Beck, how are you? Okay, thank you, Jerry. Cindy, can you type thank you to Jerry?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to, I think, do something sort of Gene Haynes inspired. I know, isn't the circle was really easy. It was inspired by a couple different people. I mentioned it in the social media post, but I also do mention it in the video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want to give myself some sort of reference lines. And this is Derwent golden brown color pencil. It's nothing special. It's just their Derwent artist's pencil, which is, I think it's just their student grade. The chat is going off. I don't know what they're, if that's anything I need to be aware of, Cindy. So I'm going to just pencil in a few lines for the features of his face. And you all know I'm not concerned if I, get too many sketchy lines in here. It doesn't matter. It just adds to the interest in the piece. I'm just looking at what's in the photo and copying the lines in the photo. Now you could, of course, print your photo to the size of your page and use carbon paper to transfer the basic shapes of his face that way. And there's nothing wrong with working that way. And I may not get all of the lines in the exact right place, but I think we'll get kind of close, hopefully. Okay. So now that's all we're going to do. Okay, so they're the Pro range. I don't know. They were a gift from my family, but I like them. They're really great pencils, and they sharpen well without breaking. Oh, you're welcome, Eve. Okay, so now we're going to get started. And remember, with our watercolors, you start light and you work your way darker, right? And we're going to do something Gene Haynes inspired, so very kind of splattery and runny. I'm going to start with Hansa Yellow Medium. Look how bright that is. And we're going to just really, I should move this, hold on.
Hey, guess what? If I mute my microphone, you guys can't hear me.
No, they can't hear you. That doesn't work very well.
I'm sitting here chatting and I'm like, I don't think Gina can hear me. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm hiding. If you guys look at my desk, I've got a massive mess. So just if you get a peek of it, that's why.
That was me yesterday. I went looking for Tim. I was telling Cindy I went looking for Tim Holtz metal things. You know, we all have that stash of Tim Holtz metal embellishments, and I couldn't find something I was looking for. It led to cleaning and reorganizing.
I need to be quiet.
Okay.
Because every time I make a noise, it flicks to me. Make it stop doing that, Gina.
I can if you want to, and then they'll just hear you, but they won't see you.
That's fine. You can do that because I just don't want to keep those guys seeing it, you know, not seeing what you're doing.
Okay. So now you should be able to talk and it'll just stay on my picture.
All right. Phew. Good thing.
All right. So this is Nickel Azo Yellow. I was like, where's my picture? Hold on. I moved it so it wouldn't get splattery. And I do have a cough drop in my mouth if you guys hear me crunching, that's why. So remember, when you're painting pictures of anything, you know, you don't have to use the colors that are, you know, originally in the photo. Yeah, see, we all have that stash of stuff, and I actually bought some new things, and I wanted to put them with the old things, and I just said, crap. Okay, where is it that I stashed the old things? Because now I can't find them. Made me really mad. Led to a bunch of cleaning.
Why is it when we get frustrated or upset, we end up cleaning our art room?
That's a good question. I think it has something to do with regaining control.
Is that what it is?
I think, for me, I think that's what it is.
Well, right now I'm completely out of control. It's making a mess.
So I'm going to use one of my quinacridone golds, and yes, I have two of them. Daniel Smith actually makes a quinacridone gold and a quinacridone gold deep that's more orange. And this whole painting is really, really wet right now. That's okay. Right now it's okay.
Everybody agrees, Gina. It's art. It's therapeutic. It's art therapy. It's therapeutic to clean, and it's also about control.
It is.
So
It is. You know, we feel like we have a loss of control, and because we can't find something, or something has fallen, or one of those scenarios. I've had all of those happen to me.
just crazy.
So Jean Haynes, if you don't know who she is, she's a UK artist, and she has a line of books out I'm a huge fan of, and I will be reviewing some of them in our My Year program at some point. They are fabulous books, and she's really all about suggesting shape and form and temperature in your art with the color, the placement of color.
Yeah, Lisa, that's how it usually starts. You have to move one piece of equipment, and then you're like, oh man, that's got it. Oh no, I got to move. Oh yeah, this is, and then you end up with a mess. That's where I'm at right now.
Exactly.
It does happen.
And this is the deep. Now look at the difference between, this is the regular quinacridone gold, and this is the deep. Look how much more red orange it is. Yeah, wet on wet. And you could have done the initial sketch with a watercolor pencil if you'd wanted. I kind of like the sketchy pencil lines. I like using it to aid me in my finished composition. So for me, it's not a problem to have them on there, but for some of you, you probably won't like the pencil lines to show in the finished piece. So in that case, use a watercolor pencil or something water soluble. I would, if you're going to do it this way with these colors, I would keep it to something that's like a golden brown that would kind of blend with the finished piece.
That's a good idea. Connie says she thinks about what she wants to do next on her art while she's cleaning.
Yeah. I sometimes come up with ideas for new videos and stuff while I'm cleaning. It helps clear my brain.
I was just really upset because I was actually I was looking for a gel pen, a certain gel pen. I couldn't get to it, and it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Now I can get. Hey, Ann.
Well, I much prefer, for those of you who haven't heard me say this before, and I haven't had an in-person conversation with before, I need to make a little money at art. I'm not working, and I need to be able to pay for my supplies and my classes I take. I would much prefer to make money at selling you guys stamps and finished artwork than selling classes. I like doing free online courses here on YouTube. That's really my thing. Now I'm just thinking about what colors I want to add to that. I think I want to do something crazy. Not that that would be a first for me. I think I want to add, I wonder what would happen if I add moon glow. Moon glow is a gray purple. Yeah, Lisa, that's exactly usually one of the reasons that spurs the cleaning is I know I have something that I cannot find, and it drives me freaking up the wall. And I'm using a basket system now, and it is much better in aiding me in being able to find what I want easily and keep track of it.
I got a question. Do you guys always finish the projects you start? Just curious.
I do think I want to dry this before I do too much. Let's get the heat gun out.
Okay, a lot of people are saying no. So my next question is what do you do with all your unfinished projects?
Okay, what did you say, Cindy?
I said a lot of people are saying no, they don't always finish their projects. So my next question is, what do they do with the unfinished projects?
That's a good question. I usually finish my projects since I've been doing mixed media and watercolor painting. But before that, when I was, like most of you, I'm sure, trying other different kinds of things that I really shouldn't have probably been attempting because I just really, in retrospect, did not enjoy them. I had lots of UFOs. Some of those I've had up until recently, and I recently let them go.
Some of the answers are things like save them for a later date from Anne. Eventually she goes back to them. Connie either saves them or use parts of them for other things. Yeah. Lisa says she keeps them and hopes she will finish them. Crafty Degrassi, Tammy. She says she goes back to it. I like it. Or if they're really ugly, they get painted over or tossed out.
Yeah, I mean, I have little bits of like embroidery that I never finished. And at some point what'll happen is I will be using them in, a mixed media project because I'm just not interested in finishing them and probably should have never attempted them in the first place.
Oh my gosh. I love to do cross stitch. I can't see those holes. When you get old, you can't see those little bitty tiny holes anymore.
I like to do the occasional embroidery piece, but I've just learned over the years it needs to be a small piece because anything big, I'm just never going to finish.
Yeah. Cody says she's recycled old art. She's been making art her whole life. She can't keep it all. And that's very true, Cody. I'm finding that out, that I'm getting boxes of stuff. And I think that's why I tend to go toward art journals. Yep. I can do a lot of art in a little art journal. So that's why that's why
I started art journaling in the first place, was because I was working on canvas, and you do a few canvases and then what do you do with them? You only have so much room in your living space to store finished pieces and so much wall space to hang things.
Exactly. Gerda says gesso is her friend.
Yeah, gesso's a fabulous. Anybody who's in my Facebook group, A Life of Art and Self-Expression, how many of you saw Bob Peterson's post yesterday, or was it yesterday? I think yesterday, where he talked about gesso. And I know I was just like, yeah, been
Absolutely. There. Absolutely. I'm right there too. It was so funny. I went into Hobby Lobby. We were talking about earlier, Gina, about supplies and having way too many. Yep. I was in Hobby Lobby and they had this like a 1 gallon bucket of gesso on clearance.
Yep.
You don't know how many times I went back to that thing of gesso and I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh man, oh no, I can't do it. Oh yeah, and oh no.
You don't need it. That's the thing is, who needs a gallon of gesso if you're not, actively teaching a bunch of little kids painting or adults? Why on earth do you need a gallon of gesso?
Because it was on clearance, but I did not. I'm very proud of myself.
That's not a good enough reason. It's not a good enough reason.
Was it? I thought it was.
No.
Gerda says she doesn't hear you talking.
Me?
Does anybody else? Are you guys hearing Gina? Talk, Gina.
Okay. I'm talking. Do you hear me, Cindy, right?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Okay, everybody else is hearing you. So Gerda, is there a setting on your computer? Maybe you have, I don't know, your audio turned off, or don't know.
She might have her audio turned off or down. Or exit and come back in.
Yeah, that's what Ann just said. Exit and come back in. Cody didn't hear you either. Sheila hears us, Ian here. So we're all here. So Cody and Gerda, if you guys want to go out and refresh.
It could have something to do with internet connections. I myself had trouble getting onto my downloads. My upload speed was fine, but the download was terrible. I couldn't even get on YouTube. So I don't know what is going on in the internet world today, but
I don't know either.
All right, let's add some pyrrole orange. So I added some turquoise and some moonlight. And so now I'm going to go back and add a warm color. This is pyrrole orange. Because we added in some shadows. Now we're going to go back and add in some more light, so we don't lose all of the light in our piece. I don't think I like that little bit of red in his eyeball, so we're gonna take it away.
While Gina's playing with her monkey there, I got to tell you guys, I just got back from vacation. I found, well, I didn't find it. A friend of mine told me about them. The coolest things. If any of you guys out there use those plastic cups that have those straws in them, which they're all over, I ended up getting stainless steel straws. Oh my God, they're so much nicer. So much nicer. Check out Amazon. You can get a pack of 8 of them for like $8. So just a little tip.
So always when you're watercoloring, you guys should know by now, I generally don't watercolor without having a napkin or a rag or something close by to lift color when I have too much of a color in a place that I don't want it to be. And don't be afraid to, just make marks on your page and leave suggestive marks. You don't have to, exactly duplicate the shapes. We're about suggesting them. He looks like an old man. It's a very strong shadow. Yeah. Okay, so now I try not to think about it too much about colors, but I always end up thinking about it too much. I'm just gonna go, this is a purpley, this is a red purple. This is called Rose of Ultramarine.
Gina, what watercolor set are you using today?
Daniel Smith. This is my main set of Daniel Smith watercolors.
Okay. Debbie came in a little bit late and she just wasn't sure which ones you were using.
No worries. It's not like I don't have a whole bunch of them, so. So while this Rose of Ultramarine is very red and warm, it is, because it's a violet, I consider it to be on the cool side, the shadow side of colors of my color palette. And especially when it mixes with some of the other colors that are already on here. Purple and orange will make like a dark brownish gray color. And we're working wet on wet, so it's definitely gonna mix with what's on here. I can say that this is probably an interesting painting to paint. For me, I'm finding it interesting because I'm forgetting to look at the inspiration photo too much, and I'm looking at what I'm doing. And I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but it's interesting.
It's very mesmerizing to watch you watercolor. I'm supposed to be cleaning and I'm sitting here just watching you.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I switched from the Rosemary Triangle brush. This is a little filbert. This is a Princeton Select filbert number 8. before somebody asks. And I also pulled out a round number 4. Don't be afraid to lose the spots like in his eyes that should have a white highlight. We're mixed media artists. Don't be afraid to go back in there with a pen, a white gel pen, which is what we're going to do.
Jerry, that's because I'm actually live on with Gina, but I had her shut the camera off so you guys couldn't see me. Because my room's a mess. I'm in the middle of cleaning.
You'll find with any painting that you do, if you're doing a lot of them, well, any face I do, and it doesn't matter if it's human or animal, there's always a part of the face that you kind of have to keep going back to because it doesn't quite come out right the first time. Don't assume that that means you're doing something wrong. That's just the normal process.
And Connie said it kind of looked like Shrek.
Well, he kind of does actually.
Planet of the Apes. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, I do think he needs to like come in. There needs to be a shadow like right here.
Mary is just working along with you. And she says she's liking hers. Awesome.
Okay, good. Yay.
That's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
I was doing a painting last night. Yeah, last night was one of those no sleep nights.
Yeah.
And I was doing it with those 12 Shades of Grey paints that I got. And
yeah.
It's so funny because you know how you talk about going through that ugly stage?
Yeah.
I was at that point and I'm like, oh man, this has got to get better. And it did. A lot better.
Every painting I've ever done has an ugly duckling stage. They all have that.
Oh my God, it was crazy. Ian
so
says
this color I just picked up is
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Ian says he looked like a 70s punk. 70s punk.
He does kind of. This is Payne's Gray.
Ian says psychedelic monkey.
Well, the trick to doing these kind of suggestive paintings is to suggest just enough features that you know you can tell what it is without painting the whole thing. And I usually like try to go too much. So I find it challenging, which is why I started painting this way. Because my instinct is to want to just put all the details in.
Connie's all right. Now you got competition now, Gina. Connie's flipping between watching you and watching April the giraffe.
Uh-oh.
The other night we were sitting there watching TV and I turned that on. I was sitting there watching it and my husband looks at me. He goes, I'm worried about you.
Well, I would wish the giraffe would just have her baby already, dang it.
Right? Cody's doing the same thing.
Hey guys, you trying to tell me I'm boring?
Watch it, guys. Gina's gonna get mad now. No, that means you have to paint a giraffe next, Gina.
Ay.
And no, she still didn't have her baby, Jerry. You know what's funny is I did not even know that was over there in Harpersville. I had no idea that Animal Adventures or whatever it is was over there. Had no
Not
clue.
until they started posting the giraffe videos.
Yep. And I'm like, Harpersville? I was like, are you serious? Because it's like maybe about an hour from here.
So even when I'm on vacation, I do this, and I just use paper napkins. And when we've been out at like restaurants or coffee shops and I'm doing this, the waitresses just kind of, they watch over your shoulder. I had one of them just bring me a huge stack of napkins.
She went, just stay there. Just keep painting.
Yeah, she thought it was
fascinating. Would you like a refill on your iced tea?
And I've done it on cruise ships, you know, like on our patio, on the balcony, and all sorts of stuff like that.
She stumbles out of the hotel room in the morning and sits there drinking her coffee and water painting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Frankie says it looks awesome, Gina. Mary says she's never bored here.
Hey. So before I add any like black pen, I'm seeing how far I can get with the pencil. I'm kind of not wanting to add any black pen to him, so the pencil will help me define some of the shapes without actually black pen. I'm having trouble speaking English today. Like, what's with that?
Blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
I know, right?
Connie says, my signature on my art is, I'm probably going to slaughter this, Twiga, Twiga, which is Swahili for giraffe. Oh. Hugs all who loves giraffes. I love giraffes. My mom is a giraffe fanatic.
Yeah, who doesn't love giraffes? I'm going to dry him just a little bit, so it's going to get loud again. Okay, so he's already pretty interesting, and you can tell it's a primate, which is the whole idea. And Gene Haynes's technique for layering color and splatters in a way that you suggest your shape is really fascinating and fun to work with. I'm going to add a little bit of black now. This is ivory black.
Spring can't be too far around the corner because up on one of my windows in the art studio, I have a fly up there, and it's driving me crazy. So when Hubs gets home, he needs to get that thing down.
I want to give him canine pupils, and I don't know why that is. Primates have round pupils like humans.
Anne's taken off. Take care, Anne.
Yeah, I know she's having a high pain day.
Cody, where are you located? She says it's spring here. It's 90.
Okay, it's warm here in California today, but not that warm.
Aunt Beck says it's 75. I don't know how. I'll have to look. See what it is here. I don't know. It's 61 here.
It was 45 outside when I got up this morning, but bright and sunny.
70 in PA. Florida is the 90. Jerry, is it raining by you? Ooh.
If you're going to do any finishing touches with white gouache or white gel pen to your piece, make sure your other colors are dry. That doesn't mean they won't be reactivated, but they're less likely to move too much if they're completely dry before you go any farther. Let's see. And this is just a white, what is this? A Signo, Uniball Signo. This is the angelic, so it's the one with the smaller tip in it.
I don't like some of these temperatures I'm seeing, Gina. 37 and 30. Ick. And Ian says -1, but they got funky numbers on there. Is that Celsius, Ian?
Yeah, because he's in the UK, so they don't do Fahrenheit, I don't think, do they?
No, I don't think so. I think they do Celsius, and they have strange, I don't know. It's not the same -1 there as it is -1 here.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so the only thing
Hey,
wrong with
Gina.
that I see is this eye is too, comparing it to the inspiration photo compared to this one. I like the way this one looks. We need to do something with this eye. So I'm going to go back to this paint over here. We're going to start with the quinacridone gold deep. And let's see. Let's grab some of the turquoise. Now, if you're the kind of person that likes very well blended paint, this is not the style for you. This is going to drive you crazy, but I like the puddles and the weird lines.
It's 37 in Utah. Hey, Gene, I have a question. Have you ever had a tub of heavy gel go bad?
Yes.
Can I still use it?
Actually dry up. I had a tub dry up that I didn't use quick enough, I guess. And it just dried up completely.
This hasn't dried up, but it's a different consistency. It's a really almost like an elastic consistency. And I don't know if it's supposed to be like that.
So what I'm calling the live broadcast on YouTube right now, Mary, is Art Adventures Live with Gina B Ahrens. And that way that leaves us open to do watercolor, or maybe one of, so if I do it on a Monday, we do something else. So you can use that in your signature line. As long as you refer back to me, honestly, I don't care what you call it. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just, I trust you guys to have fun with art and share and, well, we're all here to support each other in our adventures, right? So
Absolutely. Artsy endeavors. Artsy adventures. I have lost all motivation to clean this mess up. That's not good.
I don't think that is probably good.
Oh, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that works, Mary. And I'm almost done. You get to the point where you know that you not only like the painting, but that if you fuss with it too much more, you're going to ruin it. And you just really need to listen to that instinct when it happens. And it will. And I'm just about there.
Yes, Mary, I believe it's a monkey.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of monkey.
Jerry, no, not right now, because I had Gina shut off the camera because every time I made a noise, it would click to me, and I wanted everybody to be able to see her painting and not me cleaning.
We're going to change that in just a minute.
No, we're not.
Well, I'm almost done. No, we're not, she says. You just
Jerry
don't want
wants-
everybody to see what you've done to your room.
I've just made a mess. I've cleaned up some piles.
So I think he's pretty cute. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to zoom in, though, so you guys can see. Let's see. There we go. So just have fun with it. Thank you so much.
He is so cute. You got to name him.
Right? I don't know yet what we should name him. I don't know yet, though. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go back a few comments and Jerry, we have not figured out how to have the screen, like the main screen, stay focused on my desk with a little window at the bottom with Cindy and whoever else I invite to be live with me on the screen at the same time, like it is in regular Google Hangout. So I don't know how to do that. I'm hoping that our art brother, Ian, the tech master, can maybe help us hint, figure it out. Ian?
You got a job, Ian. Okay, we're going to have everybody's going to put in their name suggestion for the little monkey. So
Sure.
far we have Jacko from Ian. Lisa says artful inspirations are awesome. The D, yes, like picture in picture. That's exactly what we're talking about.
And Aunt Beck's creation, yeah, piles of stuff around my art room do not work. I have to have things in bins and labeled and organized.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't. It makes me crazy.
I have my label machine out right now because it needs to start working.
I love my labeler. It's the best office supply thing I ever bought.
I actually, I had bought this for Jeff when he had the firearms shop. And when he closed down the shop, I'm like, that's mine. You can't have it.
I like Marzipan. Marzipan is cute. That's a cute name.
Marzipan. We also have Yaz. We have Mowgli. And we have Buster. Buster is my kitty cat's name. That's Mowgli, right? Mowgli. Mowgli. I like that.
So I can tell you guys that from my first use of this synthetic ox gall, I think it works just the same as the other stuff. So if using animal products in your art is something that bothers you, think about getting the synthetic ox gall. Now, Quar makes a liquid synthetic ox gall. One I haven't used yet is still in the wrappers by Lucas. They make a pan, a hard pan of ox gall. And how you use this is you dip your brush, wet brush in here and then dip it in the paint. Thank you, Muriel.
Name him Fred.
So I did buy this, but I haven't used it yet, this hard pan. I much prefer the liquid, putting the drops right in the water. I think it's more convenient. This seems like it's a pain in the neck. But I haven't used it yet, so that's not fair to say that too much. Name him Fred. I like the name Fred. Yeah, I like Marzipan. Marzipan's cute. So just remember when you're working on these photos, you know, even if it's not initially a subject matter you think you're attracted to working on, consider it practice and a challenge, because you really aren't going, oh, cute picture. You're going, consider it an art challenge to figure out how to paint that in a way that would make you happy. This makes me really happy. Put a new technique, something that's very kind of abstracted and impressionistic. And if you don't know who Jean Haynes is, definitely you should look her up. Her last name is Haines. She has a number of books out. They're all fabulous. You can't go wrong. It doesn't matter which one you pick. There are a few videos, DVDs of her work, her doing some of her work. I think some of them I had to order through Amazon UK. I can find on my computer. I haven't honestly tried them on the DVD player out in the front room because I don't really use it's our entertainment system is complicated and I don't do that if I don't have to. Yeah, so you just, this one is just like, it's like dehydrated ox gall liquid. It's literally a little hard pan. I've had it unwrapped a couple of times. So it just looks like that. And you just have to get it wet and then with a wet brush add it to your paint. I don't know. It seems fiddly and I'm not the type to put up with fiddly. Fiddly makes me crazy. See, now I'm not going to be able to get it back to where it's wrapped. The ox gall liquid aids in the if you add it to your water, it aids in the reconstituting or re-wetting of your paints. If you don't understand re-wetting, then you might, if I use the term reconstitute. So when your watercolor paints are in their palette, they're dry and hard, and you have to get them wet to make them into something you can paint with. The ox gall liquid or ox gall period, whether you use the hard pan or the liquid. See, now that's not going to go back on. Allows the reconstitution of the paint a little easier and a little smoother than just plain water. Yeah, right. I don't know. So this is I don't know what synthetic. Regular ox gall liquid is made from cow parts. Just FYI. This synthetic stuff, does it say what's on here? What it is? Nope. Improves flow and wetting. Use 2 to 5 drops per 8 ounces of water. And that's in a few different languages, including French and German, and one I don't recognize.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
8 ounces?
Yeah, you don't need one. This bottle will probably last past my death. My daughter will come in here to clean out my art room, and this little bottle will still be sitting here. You don't need much. It's called Ox Gall, Oxgall. This is the Quar one. If you don't care if it's from animals or not, Winsor Newton makes one, and that you can get that at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. This one is non-animal products. This is synthetic, but I don't know exactly what it is. The animal product one is made from ox gallbladders, to be frank. I don't know why it helps re-wet the paints. I just know it works. I have some paints in my stash that are difficult to re-wet, that once they dry are hard to reconstitute and paint with. And the Oxgall liquid makes them much easier to work with. And honestly, Koi is one of them. It'll re-wet okay, but it does much better if you have Oxgall liquid in the water.
Very interesting to know.
Are there any other questions? Yeah, it's way better than just water,
come help
Sheila.
me clean my room?
You don't have to use it. You can just use water. But it's way better than just water. I know the ox gallbladders is icky, especially if you're, especially if you're vegetarian or vegan. Ew. Then you really, I mean, I'm not, but then you really don't want to use that. I'm kind of halfway vegetarian, if that's possible. I don't know, but the synthetic one works fine. I didn't try a problem with it. I haven't, Mary, but I think that because I don't own Inktense blocks anymore. I again found them fiddly. I have the patience of a gnat, you guys. And I found them fiddly, and I sold them. So I don't have them anymore. Hey, I got the label on. Speaking of fiddly, so I don't own them, but I think this should work really well in re-wetting that sort of thing. I know when I've made watercolor paints out of pigment powders, or I've had dried inks like Tattered Angel sprays that I want to re-wet that are water soluble and then paint with, this stuff works like a charm. Plain water will work. This works better, and you get a creamier, smoother paint that reconstitutes a little faster.
And Beck, I could take you over to green, not very far away.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whoever thought of taking ox gallbladders and adding it to paint water. I don't know whoever thought of that. I would never, because honestly, I mean, I'm not a vegetarian. I don't eat a lot of meat, but still, I mean, who would, even if you're a meat eater, who in their right mind would think to add ox gallbladder extract to their water? I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's an odd thing to think of. It does work. So this one is by Quar, the Golden paint. This Quar is a watercolor line made by Golden, and this is a synthetic Oxgall. And I would honestly, I would recommend this. And I have to tell you, the real Oxgall stinks. It's icky. And this one has almost no smell at all. And you just saw me take a whiff of it, and it didn't make me cough and wheeze.
You know what, Gina? Speaking of the Core watercolors at Golden, I wonder if the next time I go over there, if they will let me do a live video. If they might, do,
I would ask them. And I do own some Core colors, and if you are looking to buy paints for your stash, look at their colors are really nice and bright.
All right.
Brown bottle, the D, is just the bottle that I use that I fill up with water, and then I add a few drops of this to it so that I can use it to put in my pans instead of using a spray bottle. This spray bottle has water and Oxgall in it too, but this has the regular one made with animals. This one does not. This is the synthetic, and it's the same. You can tell it's the same kind of bottle. I got the bottle from American Science and Surplus.
I will ask them the next time I go over.
I know, CD, I'm the same way. So I'm a meat eater too, at least, half of the week. But who would think, like, I would never think to, like, oh, there's an ox gallbladder, let me add it to my art water. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing to do. Yeah, I don't ask Lisa too much about what things are made with. Like, there's a lot of things out there that I just don't want to know. So I don't ask. And the thing that will get most of you guys is the smell. So real ox gall liquid does stink. This stuff has almost no odor. So I would say go with this one. If you don't mind working with the hard pan, you can get this one from Lucas. I had to order this one from maybe Jackson's Art Supply. I don't remember now. It was either Jackson's or Jerry's. And this one, the Quar, maybe was from Dick Blick. I know they were difficult to find. So cinnamon cooney. What is she talking about with cinnamon cooney, Cindy?
Hang on.
So generally,
cinnamon cooney.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Cinnamon cooney tried to do that at Golden, and they had to go through a process.
Oh yeah, I think that's true with a lot of companies, but it might be worth the process.
Yeah, I might ask him.
So Jerry, most of the time you just need a few drops of whatever ox gall you're using to 8 ounces of water. So this one is 2 to 5 drops, and let's see. That's not it. Yeah. This is the Winsor Newton one. And it's 3 to 4 drops per cup of water. And you can also tell the real one is a little bit yellow. And the synthetic one is clear. It's also a little thicker than the real one's more watery. Yeah, Crafty Degrassi, I just don't ask because there's some things I just don't want to know what's in it. Like, I'm not going to ask. The pan is by Lucas, Lukas. Blah blah blah. Lukas. Holy cow.
Lucas,
yeah.
I bought a tin of their paints.
Yes.
I like them. Not as
Yes.
much as the Koi or the Daniel Smith, but
no, but their
okay.
paints aren't bad. And as far as I know from my research, the only people who make something to aid in the rewetting and flow of paint are the 3 brands you see here. Because I looked, and if there may be another one out there, I'm not going to say there isn't, but I couldn't find it. And it does, Ian said a while back that it interrupts something on the paper. What did he say? He was talking about the ox gall. It lets the paint flow smoothly over the paper before it soaks in. That's not how he worded it. He was very much more technical about it. It interferes with the surface tension of the paint that holds it together. So there you go. I just know that my paints reconstitute a lot easier with it in the water than they don't, and they smooth a little bit better. They flow better over the paper with it in there. Oh, Schminky has one too. Is it a liquid or is it a solid, Eve? So does anybody else have any questions, or did I miss a question? Because I'm watching the chat. It's flying by. You guys are just, I don't know. You're having fun, which is great.
We're actually talking about our Google Hangout, which I'm going to do another one tomorrow, Gina, from 1 to 4.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Eastern time. So I'll put the notice out here shortly. And I've just had a couple people asking about Google Hangout. All you need to do is go to Google, search for Google Hangout. You do have to have a Google email account. And what you will do is when I send you a link, you just click on that link, and it will ask if you want to join the call. And what will happen is we will actually be able to see you from your webcam, and we will be able to hear you. So we can actually sit and talk, and it's kind of like we're in the same room, but we're not in the same room. So, and it's not me showing a specific piece of art, or Gina or Jerry or Ann, whoever joins us. It's just all of us getting together and chatting while we're working at our desks on whatever you decide to work on at that time.
Yep. And
Mary, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mary, that's fine. That's fine. Just let us know. We only have the ability for 10 people total. So, and Jerry just says, so make sure you're dressed.
So I wanted to just
address, Jerry.
There's nothing wrong with being a newbie. We all have to start somewhere. And I just started with a inexpensive piece, an inexpensive set of Art District watercolors. I think it was like 12, no, it was like maybe 18 pan. And just playing. I did not know what I was doing. And I would watercolor on drawing paper, which FYI, don't do that. But there's nothing wrong with being new. I do have some M-grams, Connie. They're in my muted palette, which is here, which I also had out, but we didn't use. This has Daniel Smith and M-gram in it, and it's all these muted, like, deserty colors. I really should laminate my color key because it's getting narfed up, to use a Shannon Green word.
What was that Shannon Green word?
Narfed.
Narc?
Narfed. Narfed. Narfed up.
Gotta love Shannon.
I know, right? She comes up with these things.
Mary just asked if they can watch if you can't get in. And no, I don't believe you can. Because, like I said, we're only allowed 10. It's a Google Hangout. And that's why we need Ian to figure out how we can have lots more people.
And have it not be public.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. If we did it public, yes, you would be able to watch. However, the problem is everybody would be able to watch. We wouldn't be able to control it. And at this point, if we're all sitting around in our pajamas and yoga pants and creating, we really don't want the public, you know, all in on that. That's none of their business.
I don't need to show that to the world.
No.
And Lisa, to address your question or your comment, I do think the Lucas full pan would be much easier to travel with, which honestly is why I bought it. Generally, when I travel, I have a palette this size that I travel with, and I just use water. But I do prefer the way my paints re-wet with Oxgall, so that's why I got this little hard pan. I don't travel with too many liquids. I don't travel with acrylics at all. They tend to explode in your suitcase. You just really don't want to know how I know that. And definitely I would not travel with fluid Oxgall liquid. That's why I bought this little hard pan.
Yeah, you might get stopped at TSA for that.
I get stopped at TSA all the time anyway. I get swabbed for drugs and bombs almost every time I travel anywhere.
Dia's saying she's not sure if she can do it, if she can join our Google Hangout on a tablet. I don't see any reason why not. I do on my iPad. I Google Hangout with Gina quite often.
You can. There's a Hangout app that you can download, but you should also be able to get to it through your tablet browser, whether you use Chrome or Safari or whatever.
Right.
Shouldn't be a big deal.
Mary's going to park her car in front of a store so she can join us.
Sure, that works. Hey, whatever works.
No worries. Just have something to play with, which I'm sure Mary always does. Love watching her create.
So yeah, so I travel with, I'm seeing something about an Altoids tin. Altoids tin works well. This is just a little bit bigger. I have this exact same kind of box for my travel kit. This is the difference between an Altoids tin size watercolor box and the 12 pan palette. Now in my travel box, I took out this thing that I can't get out right now. There we go. I took this out and I filled this up with as many pans as I could squeeze in there. I think it has 22 or 24 colors in it. It's, yeah, pretty tight. And it's Koi and Daniel Smith. And this will fit in one of the little pockets of my travel watercolor case. So.
Gina, have you ever had any, what's the word I want to say? Not regrets, it's not the right word, but have you ever had any regrets of not taking other supplies with you, only taking like your watercolor and, you know, that kind of stuff? Has it ever bugged you that you don't have, you know, I don't know, your stick and glue, which you named, or grab and glue, or, you know, acrylic pens, or, you know what I'm saying? Has it ever bugged you that you don't have that stuff with you when you travel?
The first time I traveled, I brought like everything with me, including some acrylic paints and gel mediums. And after I came home from that trip, I realized I didn't use half of what I brought. So I started adjusting what's in my case. And at some point, probably before this travel art kit, I will be doing some sort of like inventory of what's in my case. The only thing that I've ever regretted is the one time that I traveled, and for some crazy reason, I decided I didn't need any gel medium. And that was just stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. Because I'm always wanting to stick like a smashed penny or something in my travel journal, my other journal that I travel with. And those kind of heavy things won't stick in your journal without gel medium. It's just no glue on the planet strong enough except gel medium or E6000. And I have a small golden gel medium container that's like this size. And I just keep refilling it with gel medium. And now I bring that with me. But that's the only thing I've ever regretted not bringing. But it took me, I want to say 5 or 6 different trips, some long, some short, before I really perfected what should be in my case for me.
So at this point, when you pick up your case and go, you're confident enough to know that whatever you have in there is going to be enough to fulfill your art urge, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, the only thing that I do is I make sure like my tape runners have enough tape in them. Occasionally, like we went to Phoenix, I have a second travel art case, and I will bring that and I will put this muted palette in it if I'm going to some place where those colors are more appropriate to where I'm going. But yeah, I could grab that case and my journal for this year and be fine.
Okay. Awesome.
But you have to really, it took a lot of thinking and a lot of planning and a lot of trips to get my case to be there and to have you know, backups of things in that case, and have the right backups, and not have, you know, backups of the white gel pen and I don't need a backup of the white gel pen because I didn't use it while I was gone. That's not the case. I do keep one of these in there, but you know what I mean.
Right. So it's something you have to really, you know, take and trial and error per se.
You do. And so you do. You don't want to spend so much time when you're gone arting that you are not enjoying the vacation. And so that's always been a thing too. I want to bring just enough that in the downtime I have something to do without bringing so much that my family feels like I'm ignoring them or my friends and not enjoying the vacation.
Right, right. Mary, she asked about, she's never seen it and who makes it. Are you talking about the Lucas watercolors? I know they sell them at Dick Blick. I don't know who makes them. Do you know, Gina?
It probably says on here somewhere, but the print is really little. I want to say it's German, but that might not be true. I say a lot of things that aren't true.
Yeah, Mary was
don't
asking
know.
who makes Lucas. I don't know. Like I said, I know they sell them at Dick Blick.
It's
but I
on
don't know.
here in little teeny tiny print, but I can't read it. Maybe somebody
Put your
can Google
glasses
it.
on, Gina.
I have them on. I still can't read it. It's really teeny. Something in company, but that doesn't help you all.
Do you have your magnifying glass around? I'm sure you do in that art room somewhere.
Yeah, I have extra. Hold on. I can put on 2 pair of reading.
I'm going to make her go get it, guys. Cody says to hold it up. Other people can see it.
Yeah, I don't know. See? I don't know. It's really little.
Yeah, it's not focusing.
See? Because it's too little.
Yeah, no.
It's too little. It's way too little, I'm telling you guys. It looks like Schopfeld something and company.
Eve was saying
Dusseldorf, Germany. It does say Dusseldorf, Germany on here.
Okay.
So they're German. And see, I had 2 pair of glasses on. It didn't help me.
I've done that.
Yeah. So Dusseldorf, Germany. They are made. I was pretty sure them and Schminke are both German companies. And Lucas is not a bad brand to paint. I mean, I wouldn't say they are, there are some brands like Daniel Smith that have some really fabulous, bright and unique colors. M. Graham, Mission Gold, and Mayberry Blue have fabulous, gorgeous, bright colors. Schminke has really great creamy colors. Lucas is okay. I mean, there's nothing that I know of for me that's just like a standout of their brand. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. They're great paints. And they're artist quality.
Eve just put in a little blurb. In January 2013, Dale Rowney purchased Lucas and Nurtua, 2 German brands, with the intention of develop them further in their own home country and for further afield. So that's cool.
That is. So Sheila, I'm seeing Sheila's question, what's good for a newbie? So the best thing for a newbie, until you're sure you love watercolor paint, is to not go overboard spending too much money on a paint medium that you're not sure you're going to love and enjoy. That's number 1. There's a number of really great brands that make really decent quality student pocket kit, including Winsor Newton, Van Gogh. I don't even know if I've used the Van Gogh one yet. I have this thing for pocket kits in case you didn't know. So I haven't even used the Van Gogh one yet. And they're not expensive. White Knights is a good inexpensive one, and they have a pocket kit too.
Another one too is Koi.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. This is the White Knights, which is a Russian brand. Koi is a really great brand. Koi you can find at a lot of your hobby shops and use a coupon on it along with the Winsor Newton. And this is the Koi 30 color set. They make a 24, a 12, and I think an 18. And their sets come with a water brush that holds the water in the base of the brush. So I would start with one of these because they're inexpensive. With a coupon especially, like for the Koi or the Winsor Newton, you're going to get a set that's probably around like $12. So And Hobby Lobby has the Koi 24. So I would start there. Then if you decide you really love watercolor, then start looking at some of the artist quality paints and the specialty things like Daniel Smith with the really bright colors, or Mary Mary Blue, or, you know, Schminke or Mission Gold or something like that. This is another Winsor Newton one. This is a little bit different one than we generally have here in the States. We usually have this one, but this is a different one. I just bought because I thought it was interesting because I have this thing for pocket kits. I'm not so sure about the brush because to me, having this just like press fit in there, I think that would leak. So I'm not so sure about the brush, but I find the case interesting. And you could get a Koi pocket brush in there or a proper, you know, retractable. This is actually a makeup brush. That's actually an eyeliner brush. It makes a cute little travel watercolor brush. But I would just go with your budget, find an inexpensive kit that fits your budget, try watercolor painting, and then if you love it, then look and see what you want to start investing in for nice watercolor paints. But don't go overboard until you're sure you're going to love it.
And you know, I have to say, being a newbie watercolor artist, because a few weeks ago was the first time. What was that, last week, Gina? No, it was a couple weeks ago. Was the first time that I actually seriously sat down and played around with watercolor, and I have found it's not as forgiving as acrylic paint. It is a much looser form of art. So you have to be able to be comfortable with the looseness of it. And I found that kind of challenging. When I do watercolor, I want the control. And with watercolor, you don't have as much control, I think is what I'm trying to say. So if you're a person that when you're doing your acrylic painting, you have to have everything perfect, you're going to find a huge challenge doing watercolor if you're new at it. Because it's like I said, it's not forgiving as far as like the acrylics are, and it's a much looser form of art, a much looser interpretation of whatever you're trying to paint. Am I wrong, Gina?
No, you're not wrong, and that's one of the reasons I started playing with watercolor, was because I really wanted to be looser with my art and more suggestive of my shapes rather than literal. And I really found that with watercolor, I really couldn't be that literal. That's just not in me, and I have too much fun playing with the puddles of water, and I love that about it. I'm looking back at okay, so yeah, well, Winsor Newton Cotman is the Winsor Newton student brand of paint. It's really great. But again, whatever is in your local store that you can get easily, use a coupon on to try the medium before you spend a ton of money. Daniel Smith and Winsor Newton and probably a couple others make a watercolor stick. This is the Winsor Newton professional one. I got these for Christmas. I haven't used them yet. No matter which ones you go with, the sticks, it's like a crayon of pigment. It's watercolor pigment. And they really are a good value for the money. And if you prefer the idea of coloring with something that's water soluble, maybe you might like these at some point. Stick to the basic colors. Connie is saying that's definitely, when you're starting out, you don't need more than a 12 color set. You don't need a ton of colors. You can mix colors, and you should learn how to mix and blend colors. And having a limited palette allows you to do that. You don't need this many colors. You probably can't see that. You don't need this many colors to start. You just really only need 12. So yeah, so Cody, whatever one they have at Michael's that's on sale. The only thing I would tell you, the one I really don't like, I am not a big fan of the Artist Loft brand watercolor paints. I find them very chalky. You have to really try too hard to get some nice bright colors like for this. I would much prefer to see you all buy the Winsor Newton Pocket Kit, or Lucas has a Pocket Kit, Van Gogh. One of the brands that makes a really good professional quality paint, a lot of them make a student quality, some kind of pocket kit. And I'd rather see you all buy that for a little bit more money if you have it in your budget. If you don't, get the Art District they have a long, thin pocket kit. That's actually the one I started with. I think it's like $8 without a coupon. It's in a silver metal tin. So I want to address, and God, this chat is just crazy. You guys, this is fabulous. But anyway, if I agree with what some of you are saying, like Jerry, where she felt like she didn't enjoy using the student grade paints. That's true, but you might decide, like I did, I really like this medium, but these colors aren't bright enough for me. And it really gets you to try the medium. That being said, I will keep saying to you that if you can, you should spend a little bit more money, get a better quality student set like the Koi, the Winsor Newton, Van Gogh, Lucas. Those are better quality student grade paints, and they have nice bright colors. And if you like those, then spend money. Daniel Smith is going to be $10 to $20 a tube, per tube. They don't make paint in dried pans. You have to buy tubes. Schminke is really expensive. If you don't know who Schminke is, you can look them up. They do have small sets, but even their small 12 color set is like $60. So just, figure out what your budget is. If you have the budget to start with good quality paints, of course do that. Most of my brushes are synthetic. I like synthetic. I prefer Princeton Select or Princeton Neptune. This is a Rosemary & Company triangular brush, which I also love. So Daniel Smith and M. Graham have sets of paints you can buy that are in different colorways, like primaries, muteds, and that's a great way to get your tubes. And the tubes are a little smaller, so they're 5 milliliter instead of 15, and so they're a little less expensive. And they sometimes are on sale at like Dick Blick. Ian, yeah, that's why I'm trying to say to them, if you're not sure you're going to like watercoloring, start out with something less expensive, or buy your colors like Daniel Smith, 1 or 2 tubes at a time. To start with, you really only need yellow, red, and blue. You can mix a lot of colors with yellow, red, and blue. If you need a dark neutral, you mix them all together.
Well, it's funny because
that's going to give you a neutral.
I know Ian had made the comment that most new artists would not know how to paint from a limited palette. Yeah. But my comment to that is, if you only have those 3 colors, you're going to learn how to make colors. And that's going to be knowledge that's going to be huge later on as you're creating.
Yeah, and what you'll do is you'll notice, and how I built my travel palette was I noticed the colors I was mixing all the time, and that it was really driving me crazy that I didn't have them because I had to mix them all the time, like purple. Then I added it to the palette. And that's how you build up the palette of the colors that you want. And I do, Gerda, I carry a small set of the small, 10 Neocolor crayons with me. Besides my watercolor paint, that's the only other paint that I carry with me is a Neocolor. Yeah, the Winsor Newton Pocket Kit I upgraded to that from the Art District one. Is to this one. I still have it. I still use it. Used it a lot. It's fabulous. There's nothing wrong with this. And it has just enough colors. The one thing about this kit that I always drove me crazy was that it had like 3 brownish colors and no purple. So, but that's just me. I really love purple. But you can do a lot with this kit. And this is inexpensive. You can get this at Michael's, or I think Hobby Lobby too. Yeah, the Prima are nice too, and they are a good value for their money. I just am not super crazy about the way they've put their kits together. I mean, they don't really have a great like basics. I don't know the way I love their paint. I have almost all of their sets. Don't get me wrong, but the way they've put their palettes together is odd, a little bit odd. So I fill my pans from the tubes and then I just let them dry.
I have a question.
Some people don't like doing that and they prefer to buy a cake.
I have a question for you guys. Has anybody tried the new Jane Davenport watercolor pans? I'm curious. Mary says no. No, too expensive. No. You know, it's funny because I thought the same thing. When I saw them at $30 a pan, I was like, you know.
If you guys are going to spend $30 on watercolors, I can give you some idea of better ones to get. Snail is another brand that makes a really decent student quality paint as well as a professional quality paint. They make them in sets in either tubes or pans. They, like some other brands, if they do hard cakes and they do professional watercolors, 99% of the time, the color in the tube matches the color in the pan. So if you start out with a set full of dried pans and you just run out of yellow, like Hansa Yellow Medium, you can order their tube of Hansa Yellow Medium. It'll match what was in that pan.
Who was that, Gina? What brand?
Snail.
Really? Okay.
The one Ian just posted. And I actually, because, you know, again, hello, watercolor addict over here. Hold on.
Hi, my name is Gina Ahrens, and I'm a watercolor addict.
I know, right? And this is one I think that's just, I've collected it and I haven't used it. This is the Snail 12 color set. This is the aquarelle. I'm not sure. I don't remember if that is the student or pro grade. I don't remember.
Did I hear you just say that you've acquired it and you have not used it?
Yeah, I have a couple of those.
Really?
I have.
Well,
yeah.
I think Gina should have a challenge on her next Watercolor Wednesday, or I'm sorry, excuse me, Art Adventures Wednesday. She needs to use one that she hasn't used before.
It's a good idea. I keep forgetting I have these until we start talking about watercolor paint. I do have a few of them that I haven't used yet. This is one of them. And the reason I like this one is, Ian, can you post how much this one is online, this 12 color aquarelle set by Snail? I don't think it was super cheap, but I like this set because it has Payne's gray and purple in it. And in my opinion, this is a good set for starters because you've got a nice variety of warm and cool reds. You've got a good basic yellow. You've got a nice blue-green, a true blue, a couple of greens, a nice warm brown, and then a sepia. This is a really good selection of colors, in my opinion. And it comes in a nice tin. I really like the tin that it comes in.
You have no idea how much? Do you not have any idea how much it is?
I don't remember. It has no white. But if you're, I don't use white that much. I usually have a white gel pen. If you're somebody who wants to use white, you could definitely get, you know, a tube of Chinese white and just squeeze a little bit into the lid and let it dry, or squeeze it down here and let it dry.
Cody, how often have you used watercolors before? Because she's saying that we're making her want to buy Daniel Smith's watercolors.
I'm a big fan of the Daniel Smith line. You all know that. Daniel Smith has a 238 dot color chart. It's a little teeny sample of every single color they make. So if you're going to think about buying artist quality paints and making a collection, definitely buy that chart, and that you can try all their different colors and decide which ones are going to work for you. I have found out recently that it seems like Winsor Newton has a dot color chart, and it seems like it might have been Sennelier, I think I heard, or Schminke. I don't remember who. Somebody else has a dot color chart too, but you have to like call them and ask them for it. The dot color chart from Daniel Smith is really easy. Go to danielsmith.com, put in color chart or sample in the search box, and it'll come right up. So this is $47, and I do think I got it at Jackson's, Ian. And I like this one. If you have this $47 in your budget to get a nice set of watercolors, you'll probably like this. And I would challenge you to start out without using white. You might want to add white to your stash of watercolors. It'll make some of your colors opaque and, of course, lighten them. But I would challenge you to try to paint without it. I don't use it that much. Yeah, I would use white gouache. I tend to have Chinese white, but yeah, white gouache is probably better.
You're right back, Gina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have 10 Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. They're fabulous. So that's a great website, Jerry. I have heard of her. And Jackson's Art Supply, by the way, out of the UK, is a really great, inexpensive place to get supplies. And the shipping is very inexpensive, and their prices are phenomenal. I have a lot of sets, Cody, so I'm not going to tell you not to buy another one. The Daniel Smith watercolor sticks do granulate, but not the same way as the paints do. The paints granulate more, and I love the way the granulation in them. That's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of the Daniel Smith paints. You're a white rebel. Nothing wrong with that, Mary.
Mary, I think Gina gave you a challenge. No white.
Yeah, I have Decadent Pies, Connie, and it's a good palette. That being said, I own a lot of the Primas. I like the Primas, don't get me wrong. My beef with them is not the paint. And if you can afford the Primas and there's a set of colors of theirs that you're attracted to, buy it. If nothing else, the $25 it's worth it for the case. The box they come in is worth that price. My just concern is the selection, the way they've done the color selections. I like this. So yeah, so Jackson's, Jerry, yeah, even with shipping, Jackson's Art Supply out of the UK is cheaper than a lot of stores over here for what they carry. So I almost always check them first.
Hi, Diane. Kathy had a question about the DS sticks granulating. I take it the Daniel Smith sticks.
Yeah, Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. They do granulate, but in my experience with them, not the same way as the paints. They do granulate though. And I do have, let's see, wait a minute. My table is like full now. Let's see. I have 10 colors. When I was at the Daniel Smith store in Seattle, when we were coming back from Alaska, I made a point of saying, I don't care what we do, but we have to stop. So this is, we'll do a little page here. This is Moon Glow in a stick, which is one of the colors that should granulate. And it's literally, it's like a crayon. You can use it a few different ways, but that's the way that most people would think to use it, which would be put it on the paper and then get it wet.
Hi, Ross. Hi, Leslie. Gina, can you put your monkey back up there for a minute so the ladies that just came in can see what you painted? There's the monkey today. Thank you.
So this is the moon glow, and my favorite way to use them paints, which is why my ends of my paint look pretty flat, is to actually get the wet brush on the paint and then apply that to the paper. Honestly, just the way I would the actual watercolor paint. This is the moon glow from a tube from my palette. And they're nearly identical. There are subtle differences in just the way the paint applies to the paper, but not too much. Mostly it might be user error. And I think you just get some more interesting granulation effects with the dried tube paint than you do with a stick. Be the way the stick is formulated, but they're both great. I think if you just had these, you'd be happy.
Jerry wants to know if when you rub the stick onto the paper and not take the brush to the stick, can you see the lines from the rubbing?
Huh?
Take your stick and go straight to the paper.
Okay.
And rub your color. Jerry wanted to know if you could see the lines where you were actually rubbing on it.
On the paper, yeah, it looks just like a crayon.
Yeah, okay.
And then when you re-wet it, it doesn't. It takes a lot of scrubbing to get it to dissolve completely. That might be what she's asking. So like up here where I did it originally, you can still see some of the lines. Now, depending on what you're doing, that might be okay. I mean, I like the sketchy lines. So you can still, I mean, I can get most of that to disappear if I sit and scrub at it, but not all of it.
Okay. So when you're using it's.
Which is why when I'm using them, I'm generally doing this. Because okay. I don't, if I want the lines, I'll use a pencil. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly.
And yeah, generally speaking, when people use Inktense blocks, they usually like wet the block and apply it to the paper. They don't like color on the paper with it because the lines can sometimes drive you crazy. If I want the lines again, I would use a pencil, a water soluble pencil of some sort.
You know, I found that sometimes with the Neo 2s also, I will go right to the crayon versus coloring it onto the paper.
Yeah, if you want something more painterly, you don't want those like coloring lines in there.
Yeah.
So M. Graham paints are a new thing to me. I just got a few of their colors, and I have to say they are fabulously bright. I'm impressed. They are nice. This is one of the ones I have trouble. No, it's not re-wetting. No, that's the Holbein. So there's nothing wrong with Holbein watercolors. They don't want to re-wet very well. They want to stay dry in the pan. And they're one of the ones why I started using Oxgall liquid in the first place. Straight out of the tube, they're fine. Getting them to reconstitute is a pain in the neck. This is so great that we're able to just sit here and chat about these paints. And yes, I do have a few that I haven't used. I have a small and a big schminka set. I have this one, which the Frugal Crafter has a video about on her channel. It's by Grace Art. It's a nice big palette. It wasn't expensive. It came with this little ceramic little dish and a water brush and a little sponge. Haven't used it either. That's from Amazon, Grace Art. If you just put Grace Art in, it'll pop up. I have a habit of going over there and typing in Pocket Kit and see what new pops up. This is a really bad habit. Any more questions?
Take care, Ross.
So yeah, I have Inktense pencils. I love my Inktense pencils. Just FYI. Love them. It's the blocks. It's the idea of the blocks I'm not crazy about. You can also play with watercolory effects by using watercolor pencils or pens or water soluble pens, and play with them that way, including something simple like Crayola. Yeah, so Inktense is ink, and it generally doesn't re-wet once it's dry. So you have to move it around where you want it to be while it's still wet. But I like sometimes to use the Inktense pencils as my base drawing under my watercolor.
Gerda wants to know if there's metallics in watercolor.
Yeah, yes. I have a collection of those.
I like that little giggle. Yes.
So this is my favorite metallic set. Again, this is Daniel Smith. This is what these colors look like on paper. They make a lot more metallic colors than this, by the way. But Prima also makes a metallic watercolor set, which I haven't used yet. I got this for Christmas from my daughter. And then there are these Asian brands of, they make different colors, but I have the gold ones. Fine Tech and, whoop, is this Kuretake? It might be. As it goes flying. I think it is Kuretake. I hate the packaging. The paint is great, but the packaging is terrible.
Trying to put something away and it's not fitting where it goes.
So if you want to add, I like to use the metallics when I'm doing something like a seascape, and you add a little bit of the metallic, say, to the water where the light's hitting the water. They add a really interesting, little something extra to your painting. And I like to use, Jerry, to go back to your question, I like to use my Inktense pencils as underdrawings in a lot of my work, whether I'm working with acrylic or watercolor, generally watercolor. The Prima is called Shimmering Lights, and it's already set up with a good selection of colors. So I would say probably start with this one. I got these for Christmas. I haven't had a chance to use them yet. They're mostly all like golds, pinks, and neutral colors. Oh, and a pearl. My Daniel Smith metallic palette, as you can see, you could paint a whole painting with just these metallic colors because there's a good enough selection of colors here, which was the idea of putting it together. I wanted a nice variety of blues and greens and pinks, reds, and a gray. I don't have, I have Inktense watercolor pencils, Mary, but I use the actual Inktense pencil. I prefer that one. So I guess I'm of the same opinion. But there's a lot of choices out there, and don't be afraid to make your own choice about any of these supplies. What works for you and works for your budget. There's nothing wrong with that. And yes, I just realized I have a Lucas Pocket Kit right here that I haven't even opened out of the box yet.
You bad girl.
There's another one. I know, right? Because I have this thing for pocket kits, you guys. I love the pocket kits. They're fun. And basically all the paints are the same. All right. Any other choice? Choices. Question. There's a million choices. I'm a big Daniel Smith fan. I love their color range. There is no way they don't make a color that isn't going to work for you when their palette is 200, well, was 238 colors, but they just came out with like 8 new colors. There's no way they don't have a color that won't work for you. Order their color dot chart, and then you could try them to put your palette together and save up. You know, just buy a couple tubes at a time. That's how I built up my collection. And you can make it paintings from their color dot chart. There's a lot of paint on there. But Daniel Smith's made in the USA. They have a lot of unique colors, granulating colors, colors made from semi-precious stones. Really cool.
We just did a contest for you, Gina. Whoever can guess how many pocket kits you have to send us one.
I have to count them. I don't even know the answer to that.
Mary wanted to see that pocket kit again. She's talking about the Lucas, and basically what she's talking about, Mary, is those small tins. Sorry, Terry.
Yeah, I like pocket kits, and I own plastic and metal ones. This is the Lucas one. It looks very much like the Winsor Newton one, which is why I bought it. I want to open. Hold on. It's jammed. Hang on.
The numbers are coming in. Let's see. You have 42, 99, 27, 39, 25, 45, 30.
So this is the Lucas one. I'm gonna move this journal out of the way. This is the Lucas one, which is the same people that make this hard pan of oxgall. And it intrigued me because it reminded me in a lot of ways of the Winsor Newton one. Oops, let's go there we go. But I haven't, you can see I haven't used it yet. I literally just took it out of the box. And how many do I have?
Mary says 67.
Not that many. 25.
I'd say you, how much? How many?
25.
Somebody did that.
But that's just kits. That's not crayons or tubes. You're not
okay, that was
tubes, are you?
Nope, just your small pans. So that was Kathy Whitney. She won it. 25. So you got to send her a pallet.
That's all my pans, not just the little ones. That's the big ones too. That's all my kits. I just pocket kits. I have 14. But if you include the big ones, it's 25.
There you go. Kathy Whitney won it.
There you go. I have to figure out one to send you.
Woohoo!
Or just mail you one from Amazon if I don't want to give up one I have.
Now that's the voice of a true hoarder.
See, it is. Kathy, seriously though, if you PM me on Facebook, let's chat. But I have the ones I haven't used are the Lucas. Whoops. Winsor Newton. This one's still new. What's this one? No.
We talked you right into that, didn't we, Gina?
Van Gogh. Koi, you can't have this one. I'm keeping it. This Koi 31 is new. What's down there? Oh.
Jerry wants to know, how do you decide which one you want to use when you're doing watercolor?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
Guess that works.
And look at this one. This one's not available either. That's a Schminke. I have a big Schminke too, but oh, I take that back. It's more than 14. I just found some more. I moved something.
Uh-oh.
This is the Prima. These are all just the new ones. I haven't used them yet. found a PBO. This is an Italian brand, Zecchi. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but these are great paints. They're just a pain in the butt to get a hold of. De La Rowney. This is new. I haven't used this one. These are all here, right, that you see piled. These are all unused yet.
Mary wants to know if Daniel Smith makes a pocket kit.
They used to, but the answer is no, which is terrible. So they used to do kits of paint, but now they only do tubes. I wish they did a pocket kit because you know I'd have one in a heartbeat, even though I don't need it.
Gina, I think you have a problem.
You think? I knew I had a problem. Oh, wait. Yeah, and I have this one hiding in the corner. It's always hiding in the corner. This is not a pocket kit exactly, and I've used this, but this is the PBO round one. I find it fascinating because it's round. But yeah, watercolor paint and paper, I probably don't need like for the rest of my life.
My name is Gina Ahrens, and I hoard watercolor pocket kits.
Exactly. That's true. I can't argue that.
Mm-hmm. Ian, I'm pretty sure she's
people
got
like, you know, Vicki Ross who go on and, you know, she finds these unique homemade watercolor kits by different people, different companies, and I'm like, oh, I really don't need any more.
Exactly. Ian, I think Gina's already made one, if not 2 or 3 or 4 of the Daniel Smith pocket kits. I'm pretty sure she
I
has
have the Daniel Smith muted palette, which is in a pocket kit. This is a Prima box, FYI. And then I have a Daniel Smith metallic palette. These are both pocket kits. Now, in this muted one, I added the M. Graham paints to it. So in these Prima kits, which I love the Prima box, like I said, the paint's worth it for the box. You can get another row of half pans in the middle between the 2 rows that the paint comes with. So this middle row is M. Graham paints.
Jerry would like to know what's your favorite watercolor paper and your least favorite.
My favorite watercolor paper is Arches.
Is what? Arches?
Arches.
And why is that?
It's got a really high cotton content and the paint flows really nicely on the paper. This is a brand new pad of that brand.
Okay.
So it's got a really high cotton content. And I like the way it's 100% cotton, and I like the way the paint moves on the paper.
Is it expensive?
Yes. Strathmore is also a favorite. Strathmore makes a couple different kinds of watercolor paper. The yellow pads are inexpensive. You frequently can buy Strathmore watercolor paper, buy one, get one free at Michael's or other local art supply store. They go on sale frequently, or use a coupon. And it's a decent paper to play with and practice on and do paintings on. I prefer cold press. This is hot press. I got this for working for the customer. I actually prefer cold press because I like the grain in the paper. Hot press is really smooth. And I like, one of the things I like about watercolor is the texture that you get when you're painting with it. Where's our monkey?
2 questions. Have you tried Stonehenge American watercolor paper, and have you tried Fabriano?
Yes, yes, and yes. I like Fabriano paper a lot. It is, I have to order it. So that means it's not necessarily a favorite, but I love it. It's great paper. The nice thing about Fabriano is frequently they will do demos at different art supply stores around the country once or twice a year. If you can get into one of their demos, you get samples of their paper for free. So it's a really nice way to get paper samples to play with. Fabriano makes a paper that's not cold press and it's not hot press. It's called soft press. And it's not as textured as cold press paper, but it's not smooth either. It's in between. That actually is really nice paper. But finding it in anything but a huge, gigantic sheet and not having to order it is a pain in the neck, to be honest. Stonehenge paper, I haven't tried. That's the one that's actually made out of stone, isn't it? I haven't tried it. It's not absorbent from what I understand, like regular paper is. I really like the way the paper that absorbs the paint, and like you get the, you get the texture from it sitting in the little divots in the paper. And I do have, what is the one? What's that one? A render paper, and I have the render watercolor paper. It's okay. It's not my favorite.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I'm wondering, that's one of the things that kind of bugs me about the the cold press watercolor paper, because it's got all those ridges and lumps and bumps. I should try the hot press.
You should try the hot press, because that might be the thing for you. You might really enjoy the hot press paper. For me, it's not. I don't enjoy it. I like the look that I get from the cold press paper. But you might like it the other way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that, because I think I would enjoy that more. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to try it.
It's really great if you can get into a paper demo at your local art supply, and you can get into one where they're giving away samples. That's really the best way to try a paper brand. Not only the brand though, but to try the different kinds of paper to see what texture of paper that you're going to like. I'm trying to put everything away, and I don't know how it fit up here to begin with. It's not going back the same way it went up. I don't understand that.
Never does, Gina. Never does.
No.
Well, I have done pretty good. I actually have my desk so I can see it. Just sitting here picking at things here and there to get them off my desk. That's very cool. Makes me happy.
So we're still talking about paper. So,
yep.
Cody, there is a paper coming out by Canvas Corp Brands that is 12 by 12. They have it printed with designs and unprinted. It is watercolor paper. It's got a high cotton content. I can tell you from working with it at Creativation that I was pretty impressed. Unless you get it soaking wet, the paint does not soak through the other side. Whether you're using traditional watercolors or with Tattered Angels ink sprays, and I did both. The plain 12 by 12 is called suede, I think.
It's just called suede.
Oh, suede. And they have it also printed, and I don't remember what the name of it is right now.
Well, it depends on what the print is. They have all the different names for the prints.
No, but didn't it have a name for the line?
Hang on, I'll see if I have it on any of these. Hold on. Mine's sitting right here. They call it the Mixed Media Origins Collection.
Oops, I just threw a pad of paper in the corner. It went way back in the corner. Mixed Media Origins?
Yep.
Okay.
The Mixed Media
and
Origins.
They have them printed, double-sided printed with some interesting designs that you can, it's black and white that you can paint in.
Yeah, they've got some really, really cool prints in this Origins. Everything from, there's like a daily sketch that's got some pencils on it, colored pencils. And, well, I don't know. If you want to switch to me, Gina, I can show them.
Yeah, let me do that. And I can clean up a little bit while you're doing that. Okay.
Hey, guys, it's me. This is the Mixed Media Origins from Canvas Corp. And this is the paper that she's talking about. This is the suede paper with prints on it. They have everything, like this one's a mermaid. Let me know if you can't see this. This just looks like a textured. This one is called Time. And that's the back side. Now, one thing also about this paper is you can get it soaking wet. You can scrunch it all up and it still will not tear. It's and it doesn't tear here. It just won't tear. You can't rip this paper. It's really cool to play with. That one was called Melody. This one is called High Heels. There's that one. This one is really cool. Gina and I both played with this. This is Grace with the wings. Another high heel. This one is called Sitting Parlor. It is called the Mixed Media Origins Collection, Jerry. This one is Sitting Parlor. This is Bird of Paradise. And then the back side of it. It's funny because when I was using some of these, I was like, I don't know which side I want to use. Here's one called New Arrival. If I keep it back far enough so you can see the whole thing. With a baby on the other side. Leslie, we can see in your scrapping clothes, trust me. This one is Fairy Tales. This one's really cool too. And we got the chance to play with these when we were out there with Canvas Corp. And I know one of the things I made, I cut this little phone out and did a mixed media piece. And it's just really fun to use this paper. Here's another one called Flight. And then the back side. And you see a little piece of tape on here because they actually had the, oh, actually it's not taped. No, it's not taped. They had these pinned up on their display. This one is called Farm. Just got reading the back of this. It says, how to obtain cheap meat. Write for what you require to the meat agency. So, but that's, I don't think that's every one of them. I know that's quite a few of them. But it's really, really cool paper. And if you want to do some watercolor on, I got a bunch of other paper here. If you want to do some watercolor on that type of paper, it's really cool.
I don't think, Mary, that they are selling it in sets. I think it's per sheet.
Yes.
Even on the plane, I think it's per sheet. At least right now. But remember, it's a very new product. So that doesn't mean it won't change in the future. But for right now, it's per sheet. And
okay, and I'm going to show you
brands.com and you can look over in their store. The plane is called Suede. Yes.
Another thing, just because I have it sitting here, I pulled it out. I'll show you the Brutus Monroe new papers. This one is, it's called Vintage Textiles. I can't talk. Textiles. Kuala Macari. I don't know what that means. There's this one. Another one. Here's another one. I thought about cutting. I'm going to cut these up. I don't know what I would do with these in the full sheets like this. To me, they're just too big. So those are going to end up being cut up. And I think that's it. The rest of it is just paper from Canvas Corp.
Mary, suede is $1.49 a sheet.
Does it have
for a 12 by 12 sheet? $1.49 for the plain.
Yeah, for the plain. Does it have how much per sheet for the other?
I can look it up really quick.
I'm just curious. I'm just looking at some of the other papers here. If you're looking for something really different, this is one thing that really struck me about Canvas Corp is some of their papers. You can buy this by the sheet, and I just love some of the Look at this.
So the Mixed Media Origins, which is the same paper but printed with a design on both sides, is $2.99
$2.99 a sheet.
each.
Yep.
Yeah.
So look at this. This is so cool. Who would not want that sheet of paper?
So it's really interesting paper. I really do like it. But, you know, I'm a pretty simple girl. So whatever is the best quality paper I can get at my local art supply store, and I don't have to order and wait for an order to come in, that's the one I'm going to buy. I do like Fabriano paper, but I either have to drive clear over to Santa Cruz or I have to order it. So,
but if you want to try something different, definitely check out these papers by Canvas Corp. Especially the plain suede. It's just really cool. I was surprised. We took it, Gina, we took it and we got it soaking wet. We put it under the faucet, and you still could not get that paper to rip. It was quite amazing. So check them out. You can take the camera off me, Gina.
yeah. So it really doesn't. It's really great paper. I probably have a scrap around here somewhere. Let's see. I have to try to remember where I put said scraps because I don't know that I remember.
The scrap for what, hon?
Mixed Media Origins. Did you get a piece wet already?
No, I didn't.
You know, I came home with scraps. I just don't know where the scraps are right now.
Cody, they would work really well in scrapbooking. I do, well, I have to say this loosely because I haven't touched my granddaughter's scrapbook in over a year. But I had wonderful intentions of scrapbooking her from the day she was born. She will be 7 in November, and I think I'm at the age of 1.5 maybe in her scrapbook. But yeah, they would work really cool in scrapbook. But I think, you know, what I'm going to end up doing with them is I'm going to end up cutting them apart and using them in my art journal pages because they're really, really cool papers.
I don't know where my little scraps of the Mixed Media Origins are right now. I put them away in a safe place.
You know what? I have all my Canvas Corp together. Let me see if I have a scrap, and if I do, I'll get them. Do you guys want to see a wet scrap before we dig for this?
Because you actually literally like get it soaking wet, crumple it. I'm not sure what they're marketing it to, Jerry. I don't know the answer to that question. I just found it fascinating. And I know I went to the Daniel Smith booth at Creativation, and I talked them out of a sample of their, these are their new colors they're coming out with for this year. Yeah, I was right, 8 colors. And I used, I got a couple of these from them, and I used these on the Mixed Media Origins paper, and they worked beautifully. And they would make nice covers for a journal because it's really hard to tear.
Just out of curious, have you guys, I know this is watercolor, I'm sorry, but have you guys seen the new architectures from Canvas Corp?
Turning into a Canvas Corp commercial.
Huh?
Turning into a Canvas Corp commercial. That was unintended. That's not a bad thing. We like their product.
It is unintended, but I just drug my drawer out, so they're all sitting here, and I thought, huh. Because I can, I've got a bunch of them sitting right here, Gina. I could just show them a few of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to see them or not. They haven't answered yet. We haven't got there yet.
I know, right? Well, and there was somebody this morning that posted a video, somebody on the design team, where she was jelly printing with the architectures that Cindy's going to show you with some of them. She was using them on the jelly plate.
Yeah,
and
that was.
she got some really interesting results. If you guys haven't seen that yet,
That was Rosemary. Okay.
Rosemary Morris, that's it.
Yep. Flip the camera to me.
I did already.
Oh, you did? Hi, guys. We've been on for a while. I'm digging here. Okay, this is what we handed out at the Creativation. Gina and I, the first thing we did is they had 750 or 1,000 of these Jeeps, and 750 or 1,000 of the postcards, and we got to sit and staple them all together. So that was fun. But this is one of the architectures. I don't pick my nose, Jerry. I might have rubbed it. These architectures, this is of course, typewriter. The thing about these is, let me show you, they're thick. Okay, there's actually a few things about these.
They're dimensional.
They're very dimensional, and they are very thick. You guys can see that. It's it's got a lot of texture on it, okay? Even the outside, we were using these as well. We were taking the outside of them and cutting them up and using them in the art. So that's one cool thing about it. The other cool thing about these new architectures is this background that was in it. We were using these backgrounds because they have such really cool pictures on them. So we were using those. But just to show you a few of them, this is the weight thing. Weight scale. Boy, my mind's not here. There's their teacups, which is really cool. Their bottles. So they have a lot of these, and they're really, really neat to play with. This, I think, is the best, though. And this is the backgrounds. Let me see. I got to get it out. We fell in love with these. I don't know if they're sold in Michael's. I don't think so.
They're going to be, but they're going to be in Michael's. They're going to be in Hobby Lobby and a few other places. But the thing is, they're only going to have certain designs in one store and then different designs in the other store. So if you want the whole line, you either have to just order it or you have to go shopping all over the place.
That's right. I remember that. These are the backgrounds. What do they call these, Gina? Huh, it doesn't say. But these are we call them backgrounds. These things are phenomenal. And look at the paper that it comes in. It's so neat. So we really enjoyed playing with these. These were a lot of fun.
They're like
so that is that one.
They're like $5 each. Somebody is asking about the price.
Okay, and there's just a lot of them. They got the fan, they've got the spoon and fork, the pens, the travel bags.
They have more than she's showing you. They have, the favorite one was one they have that's chicken wire.
Oh my gosh.
And you can literally pull it off, and it's like being able to put a piece of chicken wire on your journal page for texture. It's fabulous.
Yeah, it was awesome. Here's another one of the backgrounds that they have. But anyways, we're not making this. I just wanted to show you guys that these things are coming out because they're so much fun. I'll actually grab a piece I made. And grab a piece Gina made.
They would make great backgrounds. They would also make great stencils. And as Rosemary showed this morning, they would make interesting mark making tools on the jelly plate. Nothing is cheap, but you can, wait until they're on sale or something else.
This is one of the pieces that I made when I was out there. We did the background. It was just a piece of the backing. This is the chicken wire that Gina's talking about. And it is so cool to play with. This angel is one of the architectures, and then the wings are separate. That's another architecture. And then we use burlap and cardboard, and I don't know, I wrote transform yourself. This one, this doesn't actually have a architecture on it, but this is one of the pieces that Gina made when we were out there. It's got one of the backings. She's got a piece of their canvas, and then she has a piece of just writing paper that she did some tattered angels on. This is a paper towel. And then this is one of the relics. What do they call those, Gina?
Relics and artifacts.
Relics and artifacts that they are partnering with Canvas Corp, and they're doing all of these different.
They're little resin pieces.
Yeah, all these little resin pieces, and so that's what one of these were. But this line, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay, You can have Gina back.
Okay. All right. Well, we went off on a tangent there. You guys know we've been on here almost 2.5 hours. I think that's my longest stream to date. We like talking about art. So I'm going to share with you guys just because I have it here really quick before we leave. But I'm going to be filming this just by itself for YouTube. So I have some old Stampin' Up! Clay, air dry clay that I really like that they don't make anymore. So I've been looking for something I thought would be similar. I think I found it. So Crayola makes, it's not their air dry clay, it's something else. What is it called? Crayola, oh, Model Magic. So these ones are Model Magic. This is dry. And this one is the Stampin' Up! Clay. And the thing I like about it is they both dry quickly with air, no baking or anything. They both kind of stay flexible and spongy, which I love because you can then add it to a mixed media piece, and maybe it's got a little curve or something to it, and it will bend without cracking. And the Model Magic seems to be the exact same kind of clay as the Stampin' Up! Clay. FYI. I have to film that later. All right. Let's see. You want Cindy's studio, Mary? We all feel that way.
And I've told you guys, come on over and play.
So we have lots of fun here in the here on YouTube and all of our channels. Of course, you all know that we also do the year-long journaling program, My Year 2017. If you're watching this live or the recording and you aren't a member yet, but you'd like to be, the link's in the description below. You also can support my channel by shopping in my Etsy shop. The link's also in the description below. My email address is down there. If you want to send me happy mail, the address is down there, all of that stuff. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. That would be fabulous. And yeah, I think you can stamp with Model Magic. I agree with that, Mary. And yes, we all think Cindy's store is her art room is fabulous and looks like a craft store, and we all want one. We all agree with that.
My store,
You're
huh?
welcome. Well, I've been telling you that. That's not the first time you've heard that.
I know, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, I will be back next Wednesday, if not before. I will be live to the Facebook group My Year 2017 on Friday for our last live broadcast of the week. Just for a chit chat. I think I don't have any particular plans to do anything specific at this time. And don't forget the most important thing: go out and do something nice for yourself because you deserve it.
Thanks, Gina.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. I have to eat lunch now. I'm starving.
Bye.
Bye.